We are the last undefeated team in the NFL. We are in my opinion, the front runner for the MVP award. Sirianni right now is the front runner for Coach of the Year.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Good protection for Jalen Hurts, who takes a shot, and he's got A.J. Brown inside the 10, inside the 5.
For the Eagles at their own 47. Good protection again, launch downfield. Watkins wide open, touchdown.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
What it do, bugaboos? What up? It's the Sports Wheelhouse. Yo, this is the second week in a row. What are we doing with our lives?
I don't know, man. We're on the road, dude.
We went from like being pretty consistent with it.
Yes.
To taking some time away.
Family first.
To 2 weeks in a row. So it's almost like we're going to try and do this thing again. Is that what this is?
Yeah, real quick, man. I got to do this because if I don't, I'll forget. Big shout out to the Greer High baseball team.
Hey,
they just won their first playoff game as an at-large, which means they had to go travel to another part of the state, far drive. So shout out to my boys, my baseball boys, Greer High baseball. Shout out to you guys. They dyed their hair bleach blonde for the playoffs. So
nice.
Shout out to them, man. Congrats on the win. What's up, Kenneth?
You guys are already in the playoffs for baseball?
Yeah. Playoffs. Yeah.
Really?
First round start today.
We are not there yet.
No, we're there, dude. We in school in like 3 weeks. Our school year's done in 3 weeks.
I mean, we're done June 9th, so we're not that far off. But
straight up, congrats, man.
I guess they're gonna, cram it in a little bit. I don't know. I only just really got started.
First time our baseball team has made the playoffs since 2009.
That's when I graduated college.
And they had a kid named Daniel Polka who plays in the MLB right now. So shout out to Daniel Polka. Shout out to Greer High baseball. Let's go. Greer High softball tomorrow night. They have an Ole Miss commit. I cannot wait. So let's go, Greer. It's a great time to be a Yellow Jacket.
Nice. Daniel Polka also moonlights as a German Umpapa band player. Playing the polka.
Did not know that. Polka.
Playing the polka. I can't let stuff go. So for those of you that don't know, first off, thanks for tuning in. This is the Sports Wheelhouse here on the D2M Podcast Network. I am Chip. The shenanigan are supreme at Chip for the Birds and Umpire Stories. Joined, as always, by my brother from another mother. JD, D2M Pods, Kegheads, the obvious Slater.
Yeah, man, it was a great time to be an obvious outsider this week. I had a big old rant about AAU. It was great.
We did. So listen, we have a lot fewer topics on the wheel. Again, for those of you that have never watched, we got a wheel. It's got topics. We spin the wheel. We talk about whatever is the decider. I am the decider. So the wheel does the deciding. So for those of you that are looking, we got AAU part 2. Last week we went on a bit of a rant about AAU stuff, which apparently JD led to some further comments, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so I'm excited to hear about some of that. We got the NBA playoffs. We got the NFL draft. We got Bryce Harper making a return out of literally flipping nowhere. We got some umpire things we're going to chat about, and we got some shenanigans.
Oh, the shenanigans are my favorite.
I got a couple shenanigans. So away we go on the wheel. Watch, we're going to get shenanigans right off the bat.
I hope so. It's only right to start, right? Ooh. Dude.
Ooh. All right, so AAU part 2. So, JD, back it up a little bit,
okay,
right?
Sure.
Back it up a little. So, last week, you kind of made some big points about AAU basketball, which is something that you're involved in. You have a good wealth of knowledge of. So, kind of refresh your argument, refresh what came of it, and let's talk about this a little bit.
So first off, I did a rant about it. I guess like Tuesday, well, maybe Friday of last week. I was driving somewhere and I did a rant about it. And because I had gotten comments early in the week talking about AAU and talking about coaches and all this and all that, and like basically old players basically deciding they want to be AAU coaches. And the issue isn't that players want to be coaches, because at the end of the day, someone's got to coach. But it's the problem is that parents a lot of times will give their money unknowingly to players or people who might not necessarily have their kids' best interest at heart. And when I say that, I mean like just trusting and knowing and have the discernment to know someone has your kids' best interest at heart and that they know what they're doing. There's a lot of programs out here that are run by guys who are not reputable, who have no type of pedigree to be coaching kids. And there's a reason why they don't coach in high school, or they don't coach where you need to do a background check. So be very careful with who your kids are playing with. Like watch how they move, like watch how organized they are. AAU is a mixed bag. You're going to have some teams that are super organized and some teams that are not. And that goes for all sports. And now AAU has now taken over football in the form of 7-on-7. So just being mindful of who you're putting in front of your kids and the quality of the instruction over the quantity of instruction is what I was talking about.
And I think that a lot of that is, and so on our show Monday night, you were basically saying the exact same things, and you said you got some comments.
Oh yeah. So
did people suffer a little bit from the hey, he might be talking about me syndrome?
Yeah. So it was a couple of fellas thought, because they didn't play. I did make a comment about if you didn't play ball, I probably wouldn't trust my kid to play with you. Because first of all, for me personally, I played ball. My brothers played ball. My dad played ball. So we've been around a lot of basketball in our lives. So if you didn't play ball in our area, and I don't think I would trust you with my child just because I got hoopers in my family that I would trust more so often. I'm named a couple guys that I knew do train in the area. One of them is Rob Dreer. If you're in the Greenville area, dude is a solid. He was a solid player, and he's a solid guy at training kids, and he gets the best out of them. He runs an amazing organization with the Celtics. So if you guys get a chance in the Greenville area and you got a young child playing basketball, reach out to Rob Dreer. He can get you right. But dudes were kind of butthurt about it, just saying I don't necessarily need to play high school ball or whatever to be a good coach. And that's true. You don't have to be, but you just have to do more to affirm that pedigree that you can coach kids. So not saying you can't, you just have to do a little more to get somebody's trust.
And I think a lot of that is really important. So there are people in this world who look to capitalize on their own name and their own brand, which if you've done certain things, you have a certain level of street cred, right?
Right.
So like I could personally go on to pretty much any classroom I feel in the district that I teach in, and people know enough about me where they're like, hey, it's okay. He can teach, like he can do the things. I was wandering around today after school trying to kill a little bit of time, and I went out to the 7th grade baseball game. The head coach is a former student of mine, right? Because I'm old like that. And I was like, yo, you want me to go coach first? Because he's coaching by himself. He's like, yeah, absolutely. Not because I've been out of practice with him, not because of anything, but because I have that street cred, right? He knows I umpire. He knows I coach. He knows I coached him. So it's that level of trust. Problem to me, when you look at things like AAU, is the parents don't know enough about the programs overall to notice those red flags.
Right.
They don't know when something is off. They're almost relying on these AAU programs to be the sole coaching avenue for their kids. When in reality, AAU in my world is viewed and designed to elevate your kids who already have kind of maxed out at that rec talent level. Right. It's that next level of competition. So if you're looking just to give these people money and be like, well, why is little Johnny not playing? Well, because you didn't do your research. They collected your money, didn't guarantee you playing. You didn't notice that they have 27 people on the roster. They've got an A squad and a B squad, and you're still sitting at the bench of both. Like, I think that there almost has to be an avenue. And with social media and the internet, there are these avenues for the parents to know what they're getting their kids into. Right. Because it doesn't take long to develop really awful, terrible habits.
That's what it was. That's what I want to talk about. So it's developmental part. Like you got these kids that are going to trainers and they're going to, AAU this and they're going to all this extra instruction. And the kid already has a base knowledge of the game, right? So I work a lot with high school players. I coach varsity basketball. So I'm working a lot with kids that already have the base knowledge of the game. So then let's say during the summertime, we say we need to work on something over summer. They get a trainer. They work on that thing with the trainer. Well, they'll be working out with that trainer for 6 or 7 weeks. And when they come back to us, we see no improvement. So stop giving money to people with no improvement. And you're not expecting massive, gains or massive like explosion of the talent, but you should start to see some application that they can use in the games. Like we shouldn't be dribbling 3 or 4 balls, 2 balls at a time, because you don't dribble 2 balls in a game. I see so many kids dribbling 2 or 3 balls in these drills, and then you put them out there in the court, they can't break a trap or they fumble all over the place. You don't need to be doing all these extra drills.
And I understand like the logic of the 2, like just specifically like the 2 ball thing. What's like I understand the logic because it's supposed to balance it out. But the problem is that you do that over and over and over again, and then you get to a game and the player still constantly goes right.
Well, it's the mastery of it all. Like just as a point guard, as a point guard, like I may be able to dribble 2 basketballs, but if I can't master reading defense, it's no different than being a quarterback. Like I can do all the coverage drills in the world. And if I can't recognize coverages in the game, like I'm going to still throw those same picks. Like same thing in basketball. I'm going to still make those same turnovers. Even if I dribble 2 basketballs, because the application is not being put out there. So the application needs to be there. The coaching needs to be there. And there's everybody that was a good player is not a good coach. And vice versa. Everybody that was a good coach is not a good player. So you just need to know that you need to be doing your research on the people that you're going to have around your children. It has nothing to do with hating or nothing like that, but you need to know who you're putting in front of your kids. Like your kids are impressionable at this age and they're picking up bad habits that you can't break or fix with just a couple training sessions. You need to put the time in and you need to be checking the application of what they're doing.
Would you say that to Pop? Would you say that to Pop?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that to Pop because Pop is that dude. If Pop came to me right now and said, "Hey, can I coach Preston?" I would say yes, absolutely.
No, and it's so interesting. Like some of the stuff that you said, a lot of it. So we are in a situation right now where a lot of people are like, "I want to drop my kid off. Right, I'll pick him up at the end of practice." With a situation like AAU, you actually need to see the before and after of it all. You got to see the development, see how they interact with your kids. Like if I've got a kid, I'm just talking basketball now. If I've got a kid who is, 6'11", 7 foot, right, somewhere in that range. Yeah, it'd be great that he has some point guard skills, but I need to put him in a program that has produced successful big men.
Yes.
You know, like I have to do the research just because the point guard camp is the cheapest around. My 7 foot kid ain't going to be a point guard.
And if he does, he's going to be hellified.
He's going to be great. And he's going to be the number 1 draft pick, like the dude who's about to be the number 1 draft pick. But that's not the norm. So I know of a guy who does some individualized workouts right now in my area up here. AU is changed. When play my daughter play the 5. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Kenneth's daughter played with my uncle.
Okay.
And so they had an amazing organization. It was called the Carolina Comets. I'll never forget it. They were dope. And also right here with Sinclair checking in here, like Sin's a high school football coach. Like he knows like the ins and outs. Like you got these guys that's coaching at 7-on-7. They're coming up with all these different organizations for 7-on-7. You go to some of this stuff, man. It's so ghetto. It's so hood at these. It's just like AAU, but it's for football. So you got
baseball. You've got we've got Philly U up here. Like they're pulling the. I don't want to say they're pulling the fun out of it because in reality you're still dealing with kids, right? So if you take the fun, if it becomes a business, like, and I understand, like you've got a kid who might be ready to take that next level and has to start learning the business of it all, but you can't make them burn out at 15, 16 years old.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
I mean, it's horrible. And let's just be real with it. Like, we're fathers. We both coach our kids in different sports and different avenues, different things. Like, there's so many different people that because there's no real there's no real guidelines who can coach this stuff. It's just about who. It's about the hot name, and it's crazy that we talk about this, and there's no hate or shade thrown at any of these organizations.
It's just the reality of it all.
It's just the reality of it. Like, I shouldn't be able to just go out here and start a team and grab guys that are reputable guys. I shouldn't have to build my reputation up and get some kids. Like, maybe I should have to train a couple kids, but there's not stuff like that because a lot of it's word of mouth. And then they're raking these families over the coals for this money. Like, no disrespect to Upward, but it's $850 to play with Upward for the summer. That is a ridiculous amount of money. It is highway robbery.
And that's what I was going to say. So a guy I went to high school with, he does individualized workouts now, kind of his career track. So he, in our senior year, he was named the area's player of the year. Absolutely dominant basketball player. Right. Academically wasn't there.
Thanks.
Right. So he went to JUCO for a year. Right. Still got some playing in, built the grades up a little bit. Then he went to a school in West Virginia. Then he transferred to Kutztown. Right. Then he transferred to another school. So he kind of bounced around because, again, academically he wasn't there, but he used up his eligibility and was dominant everywhere that he went. Right. So now he's doing individual workouts and group workouts. And what he's producing are kids who are starters on their varsity basketball teams.
Right.
And kids that are now getting college commits.
Yep.
And to further the fact that he's being successful, we've got the Oak Hill League Street Park and the Summer League, which all of the kids who played in Norristown, all in the surrounding areas and the surrounding colleges, come back. It's an adult men's basketball league. It is one of the most competitive basketball leagues in the area. He still plays in it every year. So again, he's proving he's got the resume.
Yes.
He's now producing a coach's resume.
Yes.
And he's still being successful as a player.
And
he is somebody that I would trust.
And Chip, this is my biggest point. Like, since I've been back home, my biggest thing that I would tell people is, if you're from an area, if you're from a place, especially where I'm from, like you're being an alumnus or an alumni and coming back and showing kids love, it's astronomical, because you're basically at that point, you're almost a relic.
Yeah.
You're almost a relic or a figurehead of something that's bigger, especially if you're from a small town. Like, people don't understand the huge gain from you doing that. People that they've heard about growing up or they've seen growing up, and then they go back and see you, that you're a real person. Especially if you put time and effort into these kids. I always tell Sinclair and them all the time, every time I see them, think what they do for the kids. Like, and they do way more than I do, because it's such a pull. You got people pulling on you right and left. Even if you don't end up at the school that you were at, just being in the area, being a resource to kids that can reach out to you, say, hey, listen, like, hey, I might not go to your school, but I watched you growing up. I know who you are.
It humanizes it.
Yeah. And it make that stuff means more, because you know what I'm dealing with, because you're from my area. You're from
like where I teach in Norristown. Khalif Wyatt, who was a superstar at Norristown, went to Temple. Was a part of that, one of those big NCAA tournament runs
with John Chaney, right?
With John Chaney, right? He played some NBA ball. He went overseas, played over a while over there. He came back to Norristown and ended up running again AAU stuff and ending up coaching stuff or opening up clothing things like for the kids. So, and now he is an assistant coach, I believe, at Westchester University. So again, he's now used his platform to stay local.
Hey.
And again, it's a trust factor there.
It's invaluable, dude. Like, I'm telling you, it's invaluable to see what your impact could be on your community if you just come back and do it. And it doesn't matter where you do it, just being in an adjacent area that you grew up in, because you can relate to those kids.
Right. And again, it ties into the fact of, if you have a situation where, again, a parent doesn't know all this, doesn't know about the resume of the two guys that I mentioned, then you're just kind of giving your money away freely to the cheapest option out there and being disappointed and becoming a Reddit warrior and a Yelp warrior, like, oh, this person didn't do anything. Like, well, to be fair, you didn't do anything to help your person out.
I mean, Kenneth right here saying something that's major. Like, they didn't play in this league. They had like textile tournaments and textile leagues and stuff, but they didn't have all the camps, all the one-on-ones, 7-on-7s, training. You know, your training was, you know, had to play with older men. Like, I grew up playing with, I was like 10 or 12 years old. My dad was dropping me off at Needmore Center, and I was getting my head knocked off by grown men. So that was my proving ground.
The best basketball I ever played was on Saturdays and Sundays at the pool that I was a member of, at 2:00 for the pickup basketball games with the old heads.
Listen, they hold you, they foul you, but they made you tough, and they didn't let you call fouls. So it was
no, you ain't calling a foul.
Nah, so it just makes you tough. The pedigree was different, and it's just like I miss that. I miss that camaraderie, and I hope we start getting back to that. In my area, I hope we start getting back where, you know, the older guys will come out and play with the young cats. Maybe you can't play 4 or 5 games, but maybe you play 1 or 2, and you can kind of trade some war stories with these kids, man, because that's what they really do need.
I think the idea of just accountability in any which way, like going to LA Fitness and waiting for, you know, your run, and here's your 5 guys, and just doing what you can and learning the game. You know, that doesn't exist so much anymore.
No.
So, thanks, Kenneth. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right, we got the wheel. I'm spinning it. I feel it. Oh,
ooh, shenanigans. Dude.
We got an early shenanigans. All right, so leave the screen up because I gotta pull some things up for us.
You want to pull it down and then you pull it back up when you're ready? I can see it when it's ready.
Well, no, it's the wheel. Hold on. So here we go. You got this?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, Shanann number 1. You got to build your all-time starting 5 with $15 only.
Dang, $15. That's all I get.
$15.
It's like
so you've got the $5 line, you've got the $4 line, a $3 line, a $2 line, and a $1 line. Give me your starting 5, and I'm going to do my best to not duplicate. So we're going to go NBA draft style.
Okay. You got to pick. Okay. I'm taking with the first pick in the Sports Wheelhouse draft.
Wheelhouse draft. I wish I had a pen somewhere.
Michael Jordan.
Damn, that was going to be my pick. All right.
And it's
all right, so you got to keep track of your running total. So I'm going to take. All right, so I'm going to take. All right, so for $4, I'm taking Kobe.
Okay. For $3, I'm taking AI.
Damn, that you. I think you're going to have my original pick of this. All right, so then you're at 8. I'm at 4 right now.
For sure.
So with Kobe, I'm going to spend $2.
Whoa.
And take Wilt.
Okay. Because I'm a bargain shopper and I love South Carolina so much, I am taking Kevin Garnett. Put me at $9.
That's, by the way, that's a shame.
That he's at $1?
He's at $1. That's a shame.
Dude, I mean, you got some dudes on there.
I know.
There's some dudes.
And they try to break it down like each column is a position.
Yeah, you try. Well, not really, because you got on that 4th row, you got Kareem. That top row, that $5 row, you got Kareem.
That's it. Right, but that whole 4th row is centers.
And if you're watching this and you want to do this with us too, you can throw your team up in the comments.
All right, so what have you spent so far? Oh, you spent like $9. All right, so I'm at 8. I'm at $6.
Yeah, but
all right,
I've got
so then
3 players or 4 players.
So I'm gonna hit $10 now, and I'm gonna take Tim Duncan.
You got 10?
$4.
All right. So I'm at $9. So and I got how many players I need?
5.
And I got
you need 2 more.
I need 2 more. All right. For $3, which will take me to $12, I'm going to take Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Underrated. So I only have $3 left.
All right. So I've got my shooting guard. I've got my power forward and my center. So I'm gonna go with, because I'm at $10 right now. I'm gonna spend.
The $15 cap is what's giving me problems.
I'm gonna spend $3 and take Dr. J.
He can't see the board good. Oh, you can't see the board good. Hold on. You gonna take? Oh, you take Dr. J?
I took Dr. J for $3, so I got $2 left.
That's Philly. If I've ever seen Philly before. So I'm at $13, or I'm at $12, and I have one more pick.
Yeah, you need a point guard.
I don't need a point guard. I got AI.
He's a shooting guard. You going to trust him to facilitate the ball?
Yes, it's AI. I'll take a point guard. I'll take for $2. I will take
Big O?
Absolutely not. I am going to take Dwayne Flash Wade.
That was going to be my $2 pick.
I'm telling you, man, at $2 pick. I still got $1 left. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get me a sub.
Well, I'm gonna be $1. I'll have $1 left over too. I'm gonna take $1 Chris Paul.
Ooh, solid.
Because we're talking facilitator. So my 5 ended up being Chris Paul, Kobe, Dr. J, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay. So just so we know what's popping right now, I probably got the better team. Just throwing it out.
Just because you got MJ. I mean, MJ and AI, but there's only one basketball.
Listen, I got Mike Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I got Allen Iverson, also first. Both of them are first team all defensive teams. You got KG, also a defensive MVP. I got Olajuwon, which is also defensive MVP. And I got Dwayne Wade, who was also first team all defense as well.
I think you got a good team. I'm going to be honest. I think you got a good team. I do like my team better because I am of the logic of there is only one basketball, and you've got 2 guys on your team that are going to demand the basketball constantly.
Well, AI might not demand it.
He didn't demand
the ball when he was in Denver either.
He was a shell of himself in Denver.
Oh no! Like let's call a spade a spade. Like he didn't have anybody to play with. He had Eric Snow and Aaron McKee. All right, that's what y'all gave him to work with. In the old Chris Webber. Like,
all right,
you ready for the
pull
next
up the Shenan board?
Shenan board.
The all-time cereal bracket.
Ooh, hold on, I'm gonna move this on. Oh no, let's make it big. All right,
boom. Now need to see us. Okay. We're going to have to debate and come to a consensus is what we got to do.
It's a no-brainer for me.
All right. So the 116 matchup.
The only time we have to debate it is if we don't agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the 116 matchup is easy. It's the CTC, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That one's automatic.
Automatic. Anytime they sell a double bag of something of BJ's, I mean, come on now.
Yeah, you got to get that. Okay.
The 8-9 matchup is, well, all right, the 215. So we're going to the bottom.
Okay. I get.
I'm gonna take Reese's Puff, but I personally don't like either of the two.
Me either. I could care less about either, but I don't want to eat Special K at all. So
all right. So then we got to go 314.
Okay.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Tricks, man. Tricks
are for kids. Okay. State your case.
First off, number one, let's just call a spade a spade. I don't want to eat anything Cheerio wise because that's a healthy snack, and I don't care about my heart at this point. So I am wanting to have the fruity taste, and basically they're just Fruity Pebbles. It's basically the same thing as Fruity Pebbles. So honestly, if you're eating tricks, you're eating Fruity Pebbles, then they taste great and they smell amazing.
So here's why I'm going Honey Nut Cheerios. You have so Honey Nut Cheerios are good no matter what. Like you can eat them as an adult, you can eat them as a child. They are heart healthy, but tricks, they ain't for us, man. They're for kids. They are ageists.
What? You ain't never seen a Honey Nut Cheerio Rice Krispie treat, but you seen the Tricks Rice Krispie treat.
I'm not a fan of the red 40 of it all, right? That's bad for kids. But they claim that they're for kids. And they never caught that rabbit, man.
That's
They
why
never-
he's still out
they,
here.
they isolated the rabbits, so they were beastists and ageists.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, if you want to move on, Honey Nut Cheerios, I'm not gonna fight you.
Not to mention, same logic. It had the double bag of BJ's.
Only because old people was eating them is because they were heart healthy.
Listen,
All right, you know what? Move it on. I don't care.
I'm taking this upset. I'm taking the Honey Nut Cheerios pick.
That's the higher seed.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking it. All right,
Okay.
the 4-13, Captain Crunch and Lucky Charms. I think this is a matchup right here.
Nah, it's not.
The wife
I'm going-
shouted Lucky Charms from the other
Lucky
room.
Charms too. I'm with.
And I'm going to agree with both of you because first off, Lucky Charms are just flat out they're magically delicious.
They're delicious.
Right?
They got marshmallows in it.
They do. And if you eat too much Captain Crunch, you're actually in pain.
Listen, I am allergic to peanut butter, so all of these peanut butter ones are completely out for me.
All right, so we have our first real upset. Lucky Charms has upset Captain Crunch.
All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
5-12
Frosted
is
Flakes.
Frosted Flakes and Honey Bunches of Oats. This is not a competition. This is
It's
Frosted
not.
Flakes.
Frosted Flakes, easy.
Frosted
Easy.
Flakes is it.
Tony the Tiger wins this one every time.
Yeah, he's great. All right, 6-11, Fruit Loops and Rice Krispies.
Fruit Loops.
I'm gonna agree with Fruit Loops. Even though Rice Krispie treats are delicious, Fruit
The
Loops
Rice
is a better
Krispies-
cereal.
Because you can't even like people. They're more known for the treat with marshmallows in it.
All right, so
Kenneth
in the
Crunch.
comments over here saying he would have taken Captain Crunch over Lucky Charms.
Not the Captain Crunch.
Kenneth, we agree on a lot, but I'm gonna have to say that I can't give you this one, my friend. I'm sorry.
That moves on. It is decided.
I wish I could. I just can't give it to you.
Not today.
Not today. I'm sorry. All right, so where are we at on this? We just did 6-11.
Yeah, so we should be good with all the first rounds.
No. We
Apple
got
Jacks.
2 more. We got 2 more. Apple Jacks or Fruity Pebbles?
Fruity Pebbles, dude.
Really?
Dude, we can.
I like apples. I like apples. So
Apple Jacks just don't do it for me, man.
all right, we'll go Fruity Pebbles because the wife is a deciding
What?
factor. We'll go Fruity Pebbles because the wife is a decider. I'm gonna default to her on this one.
Let's go T.
Let's go T. And then the last one that we have to hit, and I feel like this is a tough one. The 8-9 matchup:
It's not
Cocoa
hard.
Puffs or Frosted Mini Wheats.
I can care for either one. So whatever one you pick, I'll let you move it on. Cocoa Puffs more than likely.
Ooh. Deciding factor. I mean, I have my vote, but with or without milk.
Because it's Cocoa Puffs with milk and frosted.
Well, it changed the milk into chocolate milk, so you kind of gotta go.
It's got to go Cocoa Puffs. If we got to go with
Cocoa
milk
milk.
because of the chocolate milk.
It
All right,
turns
so
into
that-
chocolate milk.
So that's the first round. We're moving on to the second. All right, we're just gonna go top down because otherwise I'll lose track of it.
Okay.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch versus Cocoa Puffs.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, easy. Not even close.
I'm
Neither
gonna
one.
agree. I don't know what can. I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch is pretty superior.
Okay, I'm with it.
All right, Frosted Flakes or Lucky Charms.
Frosted Flakes.
Ooh, Lucky Charms.
Re- See, I gotta go Frosted Flakes on this
It's
one because
magical delicious.
again with the milk, right? That sugar milk, it is unbeatable at the
Listen,
end.
I get what you're saying, but I'm telling you, like, if them joints get soggy, it's over with. They get soggy real quick. Like, them joints get real soggy real
So
quick.
does Lucky Charms.
No, not as much.
Yes. With frosted.
And here's the thing, right? Frosted Flake, the whole bowl is great. Lucky Charms, let's be honest, you're really only in it for the marshmallows.
That's true. That's true. But you know that Lucky Charms makes a whole marshmallow bag now.
I do know they make a whole marshmallow bag. That's true.
Now, so like they just changed the game.
So, catchphrase.
It's
Is it
magically
because they're
delicious.
magically delicious or they're great?
Dang, that's tough. That's tough. I'll allow Frosted Flakes to move on. Only if
I'm
I
gonna
get
let
them
that
this-
happen because we kind of bashed on Kenneth's Captain Crunch thing in the side here, and he has voted Frosted Flakes. So I think the overall deciding is the Frosted Flakes.
A captain.
Yeah, he's not even a real captain; he's an admiral.
You know, neither here nor there. He said it's
All right,
great. He said
This
it's
is
great.
this is phenomenal. Again, we're not always all serious all the time. Sometimes the shenanigans rule out.
Yeah, get more shenanigans. It's over with.
Okay, Fruit Loops or Honey Nut Cheerios.
Come on, Fruit Loops, bro. We're not even doing this for real. Stop trying to get these heart healthy snacks. We don't care about that.
I am 36 years old. I need a heart healthy snack.
Listen, man, put them joints in a little baggie. And I hate vacuuming them up when my kids drop them on the floor like that.
The peanut gallery's got questions. JD, don't get allergic over here. The peanut gallery's coming in.
Oh, gosh.
Why are Cocoa Pebbles not included in this list?
Because you can only.
We didn't make the list, Tilo. We
didn't make the list. It was FanDuel.
That's dumb.
All right.
Well, thank you, T. We love you too.
Second the Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms moved on.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
Little twinsy.
So I'm going to give you Fruit Loops over Honey Nut Cheerios, but I'm not happy about it. I'm coming for them hard next round.
Dude, Honey Nut Cheerios don't belong on anyone's list.
Raisin Bran Crunch isn't even on there. You're right.
Raisin Bran what?
Raisin Bran, not Crunch. The Crunch is terrible. Just call it crazy.
We didn't have that in the hood. That wasn't
All right.
like that wasn't
Fruity
the hood.
Pebbles versus Reese's Puffs. I truly don't care. What do you want?
Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, Fruity Pebbles moves on.
So they can be in the Rice Krispie treats.
All right. We're in the semifinals. Reese's Puffs.
Peanut butter crunch isn't on there.
Reese's Puffs is out.
Sorry. Fruity Pebbles versus Fruit Loops.
They're the same. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. That's why I want to keep Honey Nut Cheerios in for some differentiation.
They're not the same.
They are the same.
They are not the same.
Which one you want, T? We'll let you move. Let T pick them. Let T pick it.
She said Fruity Pebbles all day.
Okay, Fruity Pebbles. I'm down with that.
Okay.
You have to mix your Fruity Pebbles with your Cocoa Pebbles together, eat it, and then drink the milk. It's superior to anything on the list.
It's like strawberry and chocolate milk together.
Again, Kenneth, neither.
Neither.
Okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Doesn't matter what its up is.
versus Frosted Flakes. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
which leads us to
Fruity
our
Pebbles.
championship of Fruity Pebbles versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We didn't even have to spend the time on the shenanigans doing this. It was Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
The whole time. We could have picked off the top.
All right. I got one more shenan. It's not really even a shenan. So take down the screen for a second.
All right.
I'm going to pull up something that I came across. I feels like you will appreciate it / hate it all at once.
If it is any type of slander to my Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to be pissed. I'm just letting you know.
Hold on. I got to get my computer to work here.
If it's Pittsburgh Steelers slander, I will not.
It is not
allow
Pittsburgh Steelers slander. Although I did. Do you see the thing I sent you?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Because you're like, that's great. The name of the Steelers offensive line from now on will be known as
the picket fence.
the picket fence.
I'm not mad about that.
That was absolutely brilliant.
Do
Let's go get a t-shirt. All right. This is not necessarily a shenan, but this is AAU situations.
Fair enough. Let's do this.
And I want you to watch the referee.
Click it or ticket.
Holy shit!
Here you go. Watch the ref.
Whoa. The referee got the banging?
Is that what y'all pay your AAU coaches for? Wait, you look at the mom. The mom's got the Chanel bag on the court.
I did not see it. She really liked that.
But again, and I don't need to play this
The
whole
other
thing.
mom's got on the
Wait, I just got to back it up and pause it.
Why does the
Here.
referee?
Look at the ref.
But why is the players always sitting on the bench? They're not even trying to help their coach get out.
Because they're not committed. That's the AAU of it all. This is an AAU tournament. That's the man that you pay to coach your kids.
Okay, first off, let's throw this out there. I just want to throw this out there.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I got to pause for a second. I just know something else. Big screen it real quick.
All right.
Did the coach lose a shoe on the kick?
Oh no!
Hold on. Let's rewind.
Oh God!
I think he's wearing two shoes at this point. Here comes the kick. Let's see if the shoe comes off. There it goes.
Wait, he did two-piece him. I didn't see it. He two-pieced him. He two-pieced my man. Okay. Okay. So
but he loses style points for coming out of his shoes doing it.
But why did you kick him? Why was your main instinct to throw feet instead of throw hands?
This is the problem with having too much Cobra Kai on TV these days, folks. Everybody's Johnny Lawrence.
But why are you UFC and throwing feet first before you come in with the hands? Like he didn't even move his head. He just two-piece my man.
But this is someone's AAU program. I just want to say that again.
Listen, that's all I'm saying. He tanked him. He tried to give him the tank shot to the side and break his ribs. Listen, all I'm saying is
my man, the referee hit him with a why order.
I was actually pretty afraid for the woman ref because she's like in the middle. She's in the trenches. Like
she ain't playing around. And then my man all the way in the back, he's like, wait.
He's like, you don't have to fire you after this, right? Like, you don't get paid.
I don't think we're going to rely on you to call any more games this weekend. Thank you so much.
Like at the end of the tournament, they got to pay everybody out. He ain't getting no payout. He goes on like leave. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, no, he not getting no more. He ain't getting no. Mm-mm.
He gonna be like, man, we don't need your services no more. I'll holler at you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts.
All right now. Okay.
Here we go. This is what we came for.
So, because of the weather, I did not get an opportunity to umpire a bunch of games this weekend. I did, however, come across a whole bunch of stuff on social media, people tagging me in a variety of different things, saying like, oh, Angel Hernandez should be fired. Absolutely, 100%. Go ref in Rucker Park. Yo.
Yeah.
They bring a different
Pee-wee
kind
Kirkland, baby. What's
they
up?
bring a different kind of guns over there.
Shout out to Pee-wee Kirkland.
So I didn't get the opportunity to ump a bunch of games, but I do want to have a conversation about this one thing that I came across on social media, because one thing that has been happening, and again, we are once again talking about the pitch clock. We are once again talking about the pitch clock, where there are strikes being called for these guys that are starting to come back, whether they spend a year or two elsewhere and they're coming back after spending a big career somewhere. And there is a new proposal. Oh. And if you put my screen up right quick.
You gonna put it up?
Yes, please. There's a proposal that says 24 hours in advance of a potential standing ovation, teams need to submit a request to Major League Baseball in order to avoid a pitch clock violation.
I think that's fair.
I think it's fair.
It's fair.
If you want to go by letter of the law. I do not think it should be needed.
Listen,
meaning.
Meaning.
All right. Meaning. And let's back it up, right?
Please.
So Jimmy, so a couple years ago, right, where there was no pitch clock, Jimmy Rollins, he goes to the Dodgers. Jimmy Rollins goes back his first game at Citizens Bank Park. He won a World Series with the team. He was a part of the organization. He was homegrown. He was Mr. Man. As the umpire, there's going to be a standing ovation. Read the room. You shouldn't need you've received a request from the Philadelphia Phillies organization to not charge him for a strike, and from the Dodgers organization to not call a strike on them because Jimmy Rollins is going to make his return. Stop it. Read the room.
Why are you getting mad about this?
Because it's another situation. Okay, so my feelings on the pitch clock. I think it's a little too much, right? It's necessary. It's making the games better for sure. It's a necessary evil because it is speeding it up. I agree. But again, the fact that they even need to they don't need it. The umpire has to know, hey, I'm not even going to start the clock because this player, you have to be a lover of the game as well.
I get it, y'all.
You have to be a lover of the game.
Listen, we're going to be sitting here splitting hairs on this thing because you're not seeing the product. Just do it the right way. Send out your little request.
Do it the right way.
Just send out your little request. They'll let him play his little pitch come up song. They're going to give him a standing ovation. He's back. He's going to probably strike out. And it's all going to be, everything's right with the world. All right? Just don't take it personal. All right? You're taking this real personal.
I don't like it.
And I feel a type of way about it. I feel like you're bigger and better than this.
I just don't feel like you should need a proposal if you know there's going to be something. Just don't call a strike on the guy. Just don't call a strike on the guy. Until these refs get publicly punished in all leagues, nothing is going to change. And I do agree with that. Now, I will tell you, my cousin.
Mikey, you with this stuff too, man. You're down with it too. Like, it's a part of the game.
To be fair, Mikey's a soccer fan, so the first thing they like to do is complain about their officiating. We know this.
And the flopping.
Right. I'm wounded.
The Sixers just won.
The Sixers won. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs because James Harden put up
just call game.
Yeah. So here's my thing, right? I agree, but I will tell you as far as baseball goes. So my wife's cousin posted a thing about how Angel Hernandez needs to be fired, and he sent 3 calls in a row that were all overturned in the same game. Right? He made a call. The other team disagreed with the call. They challenged the call. The call was overturned. All 3 of those calls were absolute bang calls.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I do not typically agree with Angel Hernandez, but I can understand how those bang calls could have gone either way. And I think that there does need to be some understanding. Like, you're not always going to get the call you want. I'm not joking. I was at my kids' practice tonight, and I was kind of wandering around the fields, and it was a 11, 12-year-old baseball game, right? And a guy who I work with straight up blew a call. Straight up blew a call. I'm going to give you the call in a second to see if you make the right call. Straight up blew a call. Nobody complained. Everybody knew it. It was a makeup call of a makeup call. Nobody complained.
Because you know
but everybody knew it was wrong.
Because you know, it's like when you miss that foul call in basketball and you got to go make the no call on the other call, or you have to call it even though it's a bad call. You got to make.
All right, we're good, guys. We're even.
Yeah, it's like, and you look over to the coach and you be like, "We're good now." Like,
I know, my bad. Right, I did a game last week and I called a kid out on a strike 3, and it was rec baseball, and you heard the kid going, "That was outside." Now I've known this kid because he goes to my summer camp, like, and I fought back a little bit, and he was upset. And again, I had a pretty big strike zone all night, like I always do for rec baseball, and I pulled him aside after the game because I know this kid. I was like, "Hey, Chris." He's like, "What?" I was like, "It was outside." He goes, "I know." I'm like, "Okay, just so you know that I know that it was outside." He's like, "All right."
Listen, and it's the human element to it all, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a human element to all this stuff. And I think if we ever get to a time where we're going to have AIs calling these games, we're all going to be pissed off. So let's just leave it with the human element and the human error.
Okay, here you go. Make the baseball call, JD. Okay, here's the play. Ground ball hit the third base.
Mm-hmm.
Kid running from second to third base.
Mm-hmm.
He stops in front of the fielder. Takes a step towards the infield, like towards the grass to the left.
Mm-hmm.
The third baseman has to throw over him.
Okay.
Safe at first. Doesn't get there in time. The kid drops the ball.
What am I calling?
What could you have called / should you have called?
Interference, because he had to throw it over him.
But there was no contact, umpire JD.
It doesn't matter. He was impeding the throwing lane of the pass of the out.
Yeah, 100% interference. You actually, Kenneth, you got it right. This was an easy one. You actually could have called him out in 2 different ways. You could have called him out for the interference of affecting the runner, affecting the fielder. You also could have called him out for running out of the baseline. What you could not do is call him safe at third and safe at first.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was because he ran out the line, but I don't know that much about running in the grass. Yeah.
So that's a myth. You're allowed to run in the grass. You're allowed to take. You have a 3-foot lane basically. So where you're running, you've got a foot on either side that you can run in. So if you're running shallow along the grass and you go quickly 1 step in and then reestablish, you're actually okay. The problem is that he really went in.
Dang, my boy was out here running on the grass, like trying to pick up Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Dang.
But again,
I got it right.
Umpire didn't call it. And I went to the coach because I know the coach. I was like, "Man, you got away with one." He's like, "Shut up, I know." I was like, "Okay, cool."
All I'm saying is, to be honest, I probably could do this umpire thing. I mean, I won't get all of them right, but neither does anybody else. So,
listen,
He played third. That's what I'm talking about.
You know the rules.
A little third action. Okay, I'm with.
So yeah, I wanted to do that one.
All right, you ready to do this thing?
I'm ready. So that's all I had baseball wise. for umpiring tonight. We got a one quick topic and two big topics left.
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. Here's our quick topic. Dude, Bryce Harper is a freak.
There's something wrong with him.
Bryce Harper is an absolute freak of nature. Again, for those of you who do not know, Bryce Harper had Tommy John surgery 159 days ago.
That was 152 days ago. Whatever.
159 days ago. He will play again tomorrow. Coach JD, what is the regular recovery time of a Tommy John surgery?
6 to 8 months.
A whole
minimum.
calendar year.
Well, they said that 6 to 8 months was the quickest that they've ever seen anybody come back. But a guy like him, the reason that he had to have Tommy John surgery is because of the way he swings. Like, that's the whole reason that he had to have it to begin with.
Yeah, because remember, he was playing DH all last season.
Yes.
And yeah, he's coming back tomorrow, 159 days after. He's also taking some reps at first base because the Phillies are a little bit short at first base.
Right.
Bryce Harper is an absolute monstrosity of an athlete.
Well, okay, can we just throw this out there? Let's just be real. The modern medicine in this day and age, even with guys like LeBron, these major figureheads of their sports are not going to be sidelined for a year anymore. Like, guys are coming back quicker from ACL surgery, Achilles surgery, Tommy John, football. Like, they're just coming back faster because the modern medicine is making everything a lot faster, and these doctors are getting better at cutting people and putting them back together. Like,
and on top of that, specifically to Bryce Harper, because he spent all of his time as the DH, he already wasn't throwing. So part of it is like it takes time to ramp up the throwing again. He doesn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I am okay with Bryce Harper coming back as long as he's ready to play.
And he doesn't further injure himself. I think that's big.
And if long as he's ready to go and he's, taking the proper steps and, he can play the game, I say let him play and let's just let it happen. We got Eric B coming in.
Eric, what's up? I'm a retired surgical tech. We did them all the time. He's a quick healer. Yeah. And that's true about some people. Like, these athletes who do take the recovery seriously because they've got that bigger focus. It's amazing. It is truly amazing.
Listen, I'm all for the modern medicine. I'm all for taking care of your body, cryogenics, all that stuff. Like, our players now, even at your high school, like I tell them all the time, you gotta learn how to take care of your body, how to recover, rest. Kenneth said he'd wait. I would also wait. He's the face of the franchise. His
early return time frame was July.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's those days are getting shorter unless there's some reason that he's trying to come back. He's not in the contract year or anything like that.
No, he's with us until he dies, basically.
Yeah, basically, he's with us for 55 years. He'll die here. Ryan Howard type contract.
Bigger and longer. He signed a 13-year deal.
Yeah, so he'll definitely die at Philly.
I'm pretty sure he's in year 4, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we're good.
And Trey Turner signed a 13-year deal.
Yeah, we're
pretty sure we're good.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
2 big topics.
I've been waiting on this one all day, baby.
I've been waiting on both of these.
Let's go. Tank. Hey, you turn him in. Bang. Kick my shoe.
All right.
Can we talk about the Philadelphia Bulldogs?
We can absolutely talk about the Georgia-Delphia Eagles.
Okay, let's talk about the Georgia-Delphia Eagles.
Let's talk about the Georgia-Delphia Eagles.
Okay, let's do it.
While the rest of the NFL spent their 3 days trying to go, who's the best available player? Who potentially fits my franchise? Howie the Goat Roseman.
Oh, can we say, hold on, we got to clip that because I promise you, y'all were not saying that.
I certainly wasn't. Howie Roseman said, who's the next Georgia Bulldog that's available?
No, Kenneth, we're not doing this here. We're not doing this here.
See, this is why we can't have nice things, Kenneth, because you come in here with that. Howie Roseman went out and said, what Eagle is available? What Eagle could I make on the team that is from Georgia? At this point, I'm pretty sure he drafted the Georgia Bulldog. You know, the one that sleeps in the crate? I'm pretty sure he's a part of the team now, too.
I can't think of his name. I knew what his name was the other week. I can't remember what it is now.
It's Philly, isn't it?
No, that's not his name. He's got another name. They're going to name one Philly, though, soon. They'll be the next one.
The Philadelphia Eagles, and I said this last night on the AAT Bird Show, had the absolutely perfect draft weekend.
Yeah.
Go ahead, obvious outsider. Share your thoughts, because obviously I'm a homer.
First of all, as a resident Steagle on the network and on every network that I'm ever on, I get great joy by watching the Cowboys get less good and everyone else get that much better. So, Kenneth, I am a super big, huge Cowboy hater. I want you to lose all your games if I could.
Can you just real quick just put up my screen? This is the official Eagles Twitter.
Georgia Eagles dogs.
The official Eagles Twitter is now the Phila Georgia Bull Eagles or the Georgia Eagle Dogs.
I'm with it. I just think, okay, so we talk a lot about pedigree. We talk a lot about the SEC and how football is in the SEC is king. They basically have an SEC quarterback at Philly, which is Jalen Hurts. Uh-huh. They have DeAndre Swift, who is also a former Georgia Bulldog, who is also from Philly area. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? We got some pedigree with the entire Georgia defensive line for the last 2 years. You got their whole defensive line again. It's just it's poetry in motion, man, and it's actually really fun to watch. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because, like, I think the proof's in the pudding. You didn't get to see a whole lot of Nakobe Dean last year from their linebacker position, so I'm sure we'll do another show highlighting that.
Nakobe Dean was at the Georgia draft party.
He dapped my man up as soon as he heard his name, so it was, like I said, it's a special thing. It's a special thing, man. I say I've been saying this for a couple of years just because of the Jalen Hurts aspect of it all, is that they are basically doing something. And if you can hate on it and say whatever, say that they had to stick through their purgatory. They went to the Super Bowl in 2017. They won with the backup guy. So it's perfect that they're going to win this time with all young dudes. And it's going to be, the torch is going to be passed over from like Fletcher Cox to Jordan Davis and the other guy that just got. It's just poetry in motion. If you're an Eagles fan right now, it's a great time to be an Eagle.
It is a great time to be Eagles fan. I've been watching this team my entire life. I cannot tell you a better overall draft. Like, you went out and got 2 first round. Honestly, like Jalen Carter was a top 3 talent.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go. What up, Carm? My dog.
What's up, Carm? Then you get the next dude who is a top 15 talent. You get him in the first round. You get 2 first-round players. Then to add on Swift.
Yeah.
Because you missed out on Bijan and your running back. So Miles Sanders signs a $25 million deal. Our running back room is total under $3 million.
But see, that's just it. Because you still got Kenny Gainwell. Like, that was why.
Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny.
Yep.
And now Swift.
So this is what I want to tell people. If you are in the Philadelphia area, which we have some people that tune in from that area, DeAndre Swift is a huge part of this because he is a Philly kid. Mm-hmm. He went to school here.
And then we got Ringo, another Bama kid. Or not Bama, it's another Georgia kid.
So then you said 11 to 5. What up, guys? Go Birds. Looking good on paper. Y'all had a good draft. And they do. And it's just like all of this stuff is kind of happening at the same time for the Eagles. And I hope they can put it all together and they can have another historic run. This is the time to do it. Dallas is I thought Dallas was on the uptick, but now I'm not really sure what Dallas is doing. I don't know if they're rebuilding or retooling or whatever they're doing. So that's always a if thing. The Giants got a little better.
A little.
They got a little better. So far as that, and then the Commanders, I think they got a little better.
The Commanders picked a corner that was not the best available corner, who was still. I mean, and I'm going on a Commanders podcast on Thursday night. He literally sent me a message that says, "I fucking hate you guys."
I mean, I'm
because we just didn't miss.
I mean, and it's funny that they'll say that because a couple years ago, everybody said that they missed. Like he missed everything, and it was kind of
Jalen Reagor and such.
Yeah,
but since then he hasn't missed. He just goes, "What Georgia Bulldog can I add?"
Or SEC player,
or SEC or Alabama player. Like he knows the professional college organizations and just adds the best available player from that like squad of people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best way to do it. Like you seen before, it was always like Alabama kids, coming out. It's just the SEC. They just do it different right now. Like right now, they're doing it different. You just got to get with it or get lost. And
now, I do want to touch on the whole idea of the NFL draft. And we've talked about this before, and I've said flat out, come late February, early March, the entire NFL starts to make this fake push on the overall quality of quarterbacks.
Right.
And I've said this before. The top 3 guys that went were all deserving.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely deserving. But it wasn't until late in the college football season that Will Levis was even beginning to be talked about.
Right.
Hooker spent most of the year hurt. And they still invited Levis to New York and made him sit through the entire first round when he was never, and I do mean never, a first round graded talent.
So I have thoughts about that.
Okay.
So your quarterback is normally the guy they're going to continue to show throughout the night. Oh yeah.
Well, we know.
Hold on real quick before I forget,
Do it.
man. Kenneth, it brought up a huge thing. Shout out to a Greer High alumnus, Quay White from Greer, man. He got drafted by the Cardinals. Quay, I hope if you do hear this, if anybody knows Quay, send them this clip, man. We are so proud of you at Greer High School. I hope that we get to see you before the season starts, man. We want to give you your roses, man. You've done a great job. Come from a smaller school, and he made it happen. He's not from he's not from like the Alabamas or anything of the world. He went and he made a name for himself. So I hope you get that contract, man, and change the life of your family forever. It's a huge deal from where we're from. So it's only 2 of them in the NFL right now. I think it's Troy Pride and I think it's Quay White, both defensive backs, but they definitely just want to throw that out there, man. That's a huge deal.
And since we're doing that, shout out to Jerome Cap from Kutztown University, signed a deal. D2, my friend, D2 signed with the Jets as a tight end.
The Jets.
So he's going to be catching the ball from Aaron Rodgers for a little bit.
Sorry. So before I forget, because where I was at. Oh, yeah. So they've been showing these quarterbacks, right? So they continue to show a lot of these quarterbacks. And they say stuff like, everybody's proud of it, man. It's crazy. But they keep showing these quarterbacks because they always anchor the quarterbacks as, hey, that's who we're going to, that's who has the best stories. They do all the research on the quarterbacks. They know exactly where he came from. They have his little league pictures up. What was more telling this year from that draft that I saw was that they not only focused on the quarterbacks, but they started getting more stories from other people. Like the Brian Bryce story is a really good story about his sister. They had on the strong shirts for his sister that passed away. And their stories were just better. Even the Cowboys, I'll give them a plug real quick.
Yeah.
The story about the dad calling his son, asking him, does he want to come to work with him on Monday?
To which I would have responded, no, take your kid to work day was Friday. Oh, you mean?
Yeah, like it's just, man, it's like some of these kids, like they don't talk about this enough, but they need to. These kids' lives are going to change forever.
You have to change the narrative. And I was actually super disgusted by both ESPN and the local Philly media, because as soon as Jalen Carter was drafted, look, everybody knows why he dropped.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. And if you don't know, it's because you don't really follow football and you don't need to know. But for them to go, and with the 9th pick in the NFL draft, Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Carter, and the first thing ESPN puts on the screen is his rap sheet. I thought it was classless. I thought it was disgusting. I thought the Philadelphia media was classless for continuing to badger Howie and Jeffrey and Sirianni with those questions. Like, you know what? Obviously, they did their homework. They're not going to waste a number 9 pick on a guy if they didn't do their homework. Right. But if there's any organization in the entire NFL that I trust to revitalize a guy's career, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Look what they did with Michael Vick.
just in general, like, let's just be real. Like, Philly's a tough place. Like, I was there for 5 years, and it's not a tougher place. It's not a place that's going to be more scrutiny. And I think that kid can handle it. He's probably been asked every question in the book in the process. He's probably had his personal life come through. In this what I hate about this is you're taking 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, and you're taking the worst thing that they've ever done, and you're magnifying that, and that's what they
blasting it everywhere. It's atrocious.
Yeah, and it's just Deuce Vaughn. Yeah, you guys got Deuce Vaughn. So it's to me, it's just like you magnify a guy's worst moment in his life, and that's not cool. And he's like, yeah, it was a big point of devaluing him right away. And you're right. But what's crazy is about Philly is if he comes in and he's a dog, which I know he will be.
I mean, technically, he is a legitimate dog. He is able.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but if he comes in and he has that pedigree about himself, and he comes in, Philly will not only forget that part of him, but they will embrace that part of him, because Philly is that hard, like blue collar town. They're going to do the things. They want you to play hard here. And
the way that the Eagles are doing everything is that they're putting guys around him that he already has that sense of comfort with, like by putting all those defensive studs from that Georgia Bulldogs team. He's going to be Jordan Davis's roommate at camp.
Dude, that's amazing. Like, could you imagine walking into a place, all your homies that you played when in college are now on a pro team. You even have your own lingo for things outside of what they do from Philly. They probably got their own things, ways to know to stunt, their own calls they probably know.
And with Sean Desai as the new defensive coordinator, they're going to be implementing a defense. So they're going to also default to, hey, what worked for you when you guys were on a record-breaking Georgia defense?
Yeah, it's disgusting. And shout out to Carm. She's saying Philly Bulldogs. Yeah, we already talked about that, y'all. Y'all nice or whatever.
I think that, look, we know that in the time of social media, like, it's so easy to portray the negative. It's so easy to throw a guy under the bus. Like the dude who got drafted to the Packers. What's his most memorable portion of his night? That his dad did the double butt tap on his girlfriend.
He did do the double butt. I mean, that was funny, though.
It was funny. Right? Funny. All the memes that came out about Will Levis's girlfriend.
Listen, okay, I need to throw this out there. Can I just be honest about this? Brothers, whatever color you are, stop bringing your girlfriend to the draft with you, because you do one or two things. Like, you could be like CeeDee Lamb and like you take the phone right at the girl's hand because she's about to go through your junk. Took it out of her hand, ripped the phone out of her hand, so he never recovered from that. So they've been talking about that since he got drafted. Like, just come with your mom and daddy. Have her in the back somewhere.
Although make sure your girlfriend's way in the back, because apparently daddy's got a little handsy.
Yeah, Pops has got a little drunk, started slapping some cheeks. Like, he was like, hey, listen, I love you to death. Continue to take care of my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, a little double tap. And so I just think that, hey, man, like, if you're not married to her, probably chances are you're probably not going to be with her much longer. And and they just be too happy too. Sometimes they just be like mad happy, like, we made it. Like,
I think my favorite draft, honestly, was the COVID draft, because everybody was at their homes. Everybody was at their homes with their family. Because here's the thing, getting to the NFL is not a solo effort.
No.
And think about how much time we spent talking about the idea of the AAU, right? Getting to the pinnacle of your sport is not a solo effort. It is those Saturday mornings on a football field in the cold and in the rain, and driving from game to game and sitting at practices wrapped up in as many blankets as possible, and then schlepping to all corners of your state for those state playoff games, and then figuring out a way to go see your kid as they're playing in the SEC if you're not from the SEC level. And that is a family moment. So that year that they did the family event because they couldn't get together, it was the best event total.
Thanks.
You didn't have the Will Levises sitting there absolutely depressed because he never should have been invited to the room anyway.
Listen, I get it, and I hear everything you're saying, and I agree. My issue is with the etiquette that is happening on these, like, at this stuff. Like, yes, you may be dating this girl, and yeah, she might be your high school sweetheart. Brother, what I'm telling you, you're putting a huge target on your back, bringing that girl to the draft. Like, I'm not saying she can't be at the party. She can be at the watch party. Just don't have her in the camera.
The Russell Wilson one was real bad too.
Yeah, like he ain't with that girl no more. She's super excited for him. And because she thinks she's a millionaire now.
Then he gave her the 1-2 step out the door.
Oh. We're going to get canceled because of this.
We're not. That's a funny joke. Copyright the Sports Wheelhouse.
We're going to get canceled. But yeah, stop putting the girls in the camera.
Hey,
we got a little better too. Oh.
See? Appreciation of the brilliance. I do have a legitimate question for you. Okay.
Is it a Steelers question?
It's not.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm with it.
What is Howie Roseman's favorite Ray Charles song?
Gold Digger?
Georgia.
Oh.
Joe. Georgia.
I can't even think because I always think about the Masters every time I hear it. Like, what? I think about the Masters every time I hear it. I live close to Georgia. I'm like 45 minutes away from Georgia. So I hear for the Masters the whole couple weeks that the Masters are going on. Or the whole week the Masters are going on. You know what? I'm done with this place.
All right. Let's hit the last topic up.
I hate it here.
We'll spin the wheel just because we got to.
I hate it here.
I wonder what it's going to land on. The NBA playoffs. My, how interesting.
NBA playoffs. Carm, you can definitely got a charm in on this part because Carm used to be our resident basketball guru. So, Carm, make sure you get your popcorn ready. You got to get popping.
So, Eastern Conference semifinals began tonight. Sixers actually won the game, 119-115. Without Joel Embiid, which let's just start there. It was a dirty takedown. It was a dirty takedown. And then once again, no consequences. Once again, struggling to have Joel Embiid actually play in the biggest games when the games matter. Right? So we're going to push past that. Everybody wrote the Sixers off. ESPN was straight up laughing at us. Now, I do think that it's still going to be a tough series because I do not feel like the Celtics played their best ball tonight. I don't feel like the Sixers played their best ball tonight. They left a lot open in the middle with the absence of Joel Embiid. You're also not going to get, and I'm reading stats now at this point, you're also not going to get 45 points from James Harden every night.
That man is probably in the ice bath right now.
No, he just climbed back into whatever he wore to the game. Please tell me you saw that.
Why did he have on a cocoon? Like,
why did he dress as a Muppet tonight?
I don't know what happened. Yes, we won, Kenneth. We're like that.
James Harden, 45 points. 45 points. He hasn't had 45 points pretty much, I don't think, since he's been here.
Listen, the beard is
Tatum
real.
had 39, right? Brogdon dropped 20. Jaylen Brown had 23. Like, the Celtics scored. B-ball, Paul, nice little double-double, 13 rebounds.
The Celtics lost. The Celtics lost.
Celtics lost.
2 to Sixers. We won. We're up.
Yeah, Melton off the bench. Maxey having almost a 30-piece. I mean, it was a close game most of the game. It was a physical game. The refs did not overcall the game. They let them beat each other up.
Listen, this is playoff basketball. This is Celtics and Sixers. This is Celtics and Sixers. This is the heart of the cities, baby. Like, this is what you want. You want to let the nasty like rivalry of all this be the nasty rivalry. You know what I'm saying? He said seriously, have them not taking teams seriously when they are down. Exhibit A in this. Yeah, they have.
I personally do feel that this was kind of like a punch in the mouth that they were not expecting. So I think if Joel Embiid does not play in game 2, which again, I think he's doubtful, I do think the Celtics will win game 2. I think
Can I throw this out there.
Yeah.
I need to throw this out there just so we can be sure. The Celtics in earlier years have been choke artists.
They have.
They've had some of the biggest choke jobs. Not more than the Sixers, but definitely had choke jobs. And I'm just going to throw this out there right now. even if the Sixers do get by Boston, they have to go deal with the curse of Jimmy Butler.
Miami is coming out the East.
Miami is the curse of Jimmy Butler, and that dude is different in the playoffs. I don't care. Like,
that dude is single-handedly slapping teams apart.
I don't have any. When you have to deal with Jimmy Butler, you are in trouble in the playoffs. You just are. You will be back. You will be back.
Yeah, and I do think that, like, looking at the whole, so
the curse of Jimmy Butler, baby.
Yeah,
triple doink. You like that? Doop.
And like, all right. So, looking at the rest of the playoffs, right? So let's make some predictions. So LeBron, they awokened a sleeping bear. See what I did there? The Grizzlies awoke a sleeping bear, and LeBron went off.
Yeah, but then
with that being said, there is no way they beat the Warriors.
Listen, they woke up that little light-skinned dude that looks like Drake but littler. They woke up Steph, and Steph put a 50-piece on the game 7, and that's poetry in motion. We always wanted LeBron and Curry again, like we did when they played with the Cavs, and we've been wanting it, right? Well, we're getting it, and we're getting it on the West Coast, and it's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be a hellified series, and if you get Curry at his best and LeBron not playing at his best, then I think we're in for a great series. Because Sacramento is a good team, and they gave the Warriors all they can handle. Yeah.
So this is kind of fun. I'm looking at the bracket that's left of the final 8 teams.
Let's do it.
No, I'll share it. You guys all know this, but I'll share it. You've got the Nuggets at 1, Celtics 2, Sixers 3, Suns 4, Knicks 5, Warriors 6, Lakers 7, Heat 8 as the remaining teams.
That's a beautiful.
You have a 1 through 8 seed left.
Dude, that's perfect.
Sorry, I got a little fascinated by that. I'm sorry. All right, so real quick, Nuggets or Suns, who wins?
Suns.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though they lost game 1.
I know they lost game 1, but the thing about Jokic is how to do that every night, and they don't have enough to stop. Don't have enough to stop Kevin Durant and Booker for 4 of the game. They got to stop him for 4 games. He's eventually gonna wake up. Like, he's gonna have a big game. Yeah, he's gonna not only is he gonna have a big game, but he's gonna continue to have them. And then you got Booker to help him now. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Nuggets only because you saw Jamal Murray, what he's actually capable of as well. That was stupid, quite honestly. Yeah. I think the Nuggets are the overall better team, whereas the Suns have the better superstars. Well, the Nuggets can't guard apart Carr, so I'm not really worried about them. I'm worried about them defensively. Either way, the Warriors are going to the finals. Yes. I mean, I just think the Warriors, and what's crazy is every year we see them, they have this weird decline, right? And we're like, oh, they're falling off the cliff. Like, but they still got to do, they can shoot from 40, 50 feet away. So it doesn't matter what they do. I will say Jordan Poole will not be on the Warriors next season, though. Unless they will. They might find the money to pay him. Unless they get rid of Draymond. Yeah, Draymond has to go, but I mean Draymond has to go for Jordan Poole to stay. I think come down to the Heat. So I got the Nuggets and the Warriors, and with the Warriors winning in getting to the finals. I've got the Heat, and I'm gonna take the Sixers. With the Heat beating the Sixers. Because Jimmy Butler is just he's ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of the Heat. I'm gonna say that the Heat will get by the Knicks and the Sixers will get by the Celtics. And then I got the Celtics breaking the curse of Jimmy Butler. I got them somehow. They get Joel back. I think Joel has a big series, and they come out, and I got the Warriors coming out the West. So it should be Warriors Sixers in the finals, and I got the Warriors taking it. Okay. I mean, I got to be honest, man. I would love to see the Sixers get it. I just don't trust Doc Rivers. I think Doc is the worst coach in America. Yeah. I don't care. Like, you can at me. I don't care. I do think that, again, they need Embiid to come back, and he needs to come back at, I would say, 88% healthy, which we know he's not.
but you're not going to get another.
He had Ebola.
But
Doc is a liability.
He is. Doc is a liability. And again, if they have another second round exit, I think they have to consider getting rid of him.
You have to part ways with Doc no matter what, because he doesn't bring nothing to the table except for excuses about how he's not Pop.
Would you ask Pop that question?
No, I'm not, because the Pop ain't doing stupid stuff. Popovich is one of the best coaches of all time
in the history of the NBA. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He did make some adjustments tonight. I was surprised.
Because he was forced to. He didn't rely on his superstars. Again, think about it. Every time that Doc Rivers has been successful, he has relied on superstar play. And even still, tonight, what was his game plan? Give James Harden the ball as much as possible. It worked tonight, but there's going to be games, especially like next game out, you're going to see James Harden's legs are still beat.
Listen.
So he's relying on Tobias Harris. He's relying on Maxey. Like, you can't rely on these guys to be those kind of scorers every time.
I'm with Kenneth. I just yawn because I'm sleeping on Doc. Like, it dude's the worst. I've been hating Doc for like a couple years now since especially when I lived there and I had to cover him. Like, it was like he would come in the press conference. I think he might have dementia or something. Like, I'm starting to think that he might be. He still thinks he has Kevin Garnett and like Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I think some of the stuff that he was trying to do is, they have to rely on them. The fact that Jalen McDaniels got into the game blew my mind. The fact that Melton had points that he did blew my mind.
Listen, y'all. Let's be honest. We're just doing just enough so we don't look like the process completely is a failure. Like, that's what we're doing. We're wasting Joel's years. You know, even when he gets Ebola every season, you know, something else happens to him. He probably won't get the MVP now. They'll find some way to not give it to him, and this is what it is. I'm content with knowing that we're always going to be the bridesmaid, never the bride.
So
thanks, Eric.
Here's the big question, and this will be the last thing I'm going to ask you.
Oh God!
Tomorrow night,
they
will announce
MVP.
Yep. Is this the year that Joel Embiid wins it?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Your finalists are Giannis, Joel Embiid, Jokic.
I just feel like if you give it to Jokic, it's going to be too obvious that it's fixed. So you have to give it to Joel at least once.
I don't think it's a give it to him thing. I think he's earned it.
I mean, he's earned it, but I'm saying, like, if you don't at this point, It's almost like you're literally spitting in his mouth. Like, he's like, hey, open your mouth. Like, I'm gonna spit in there. Like, he should have gotten the last 2 years and he didn't get it. And it got, everybody's coming in and saying Joel will get it. I think he will. I think he does deserve it. But I just think at the end of the day, when you start looking at pound for pound, Joel has been probably the best player in the league. He also plays defense, man. He plays defense. He blocks shots. I mean, his durability was always been a question if he could be durable. But
he's been durable the last 2 years up until he got to the playoffs. Yeah. Because he is, absolutely beaten, exhausted, things like that. But again, the most valuable player piece, right? Jokic's team is the number 1 seed. So he is the best player on the best team.
Who is this?
Jokic.
Okay, let's be real. The Nuggets are not the best team.
And Giannis, right? They were the number 1 seed. So Giannis was the best player on the number 1 seed over there.
You gotta remember, wait a minute. But the year before that, the Sixers were the number 1 team, and he didn't win it. So
thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the counter arguments was there, right? Carmen's saying the same thing, right? Seeding doesn't matter. I just want to make sure. Again, I was playing devil's advocate. Joel Hans Embiid is the NBA MVP. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Oh, Charles Barkley reference. It's guaranteed.
And if he's not,
it's uncivilized.
That's terrible.
That is absolutely terrible.
That's terrible.
Terrible. Shaq. That's terrible. Kidding. Let me tell you something. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
That's terrible. All right. You know what else is terrible? How bad this is getting.
Yeah, man. We've been doing this for quite some time.
Remember when I was like, hey, we only got 6 topics. We'll be all right?
Dude, I told you to stop doing that. Like, every time you come in and say we're gonna do this in an hour show, we never get it in an hour.
I feel like we need a green room, like us recording, saying that as Conway checks in now.
I feel like where have you been for the last hour that we've been needing you?
I feel like we need a green room. You're like, oh man, it's gonna be a short one, and then you like hit the SpongeBob graphic, An hour and a half later.
2 hours later. And then Tilla's like pulling you off of the computer, like, yeah, you
Nah, she's napping in the next room. After we got done that cereal thing, she was done.
Dude, that taps her out when you get she worked up herself up pretty good with the cereal conversation.
She's like, it's Frosted Flakes.
We got Al coming in now. What is happening?
Y'all gotta watch it back.
It's what now? 10:40. Maybe we gotta start the show at 10 o'clock next week.
All right, let's break out the wheel. Here we go.
10 o'clock was rolling. Like,
listen, if we start at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna die.
Listen, I will be somewhere face down in a puddle of my own.
There you go, Carm, plugging it up.
Make sure y'all can tune in to Take a Minute with Carm tomorrow. Yes, where you got to send us your link so we can send it out everywhere. So Carm has not been like with us. She's doing her own thing, doing real big things, like really been on TV. Like we not really on TV. So she really on TV. So shout out to Carm. So proud of her. Yeah, that's the homie.
Are you doing any other shows this week? What you got going on?
No, I'm going to be at this conference. I'm at this content creators conference next for the next 3 days. So I'll be learning stuff about content. I'm trying to start some new shows. So if anybody knows anybody who wants to start a show, holla at me, man. I'm looking for
Kenneth, man, you were there from the jump, man. Appreciate you.
This the whole time. Al checking in now. So if anybody wants to do any content coming up, I'm doing that. So guys, let me know if you guys are interested. I'm looking for a female co-host as well. So if we can do that, not trying to play Carm, but I would like to have that, like that kind of like that dynamic going back and forth and have a female's opinion on sports and culture. So if you guys know anybody that's interested, y'all hit me up. Let me know. What about you?
I got 2 shows this week. I got obviously the AAT Bird show this week, where we're going to continue probably talking about at this point the schedule release. Once that comes out on Thursday. And then I'm also hopping on to a Washington Commanders podcast to talk about, how much they botched the draft and just brag about the Georgia-Delphia Bulldog Eagles. I can't even say it right.
The Georgia-Delphia Bulldog Eagles.
So
they're going to have an eagle with a bulldog face on it. That's the thing.
They got it. They're selling them. The logo is amazing.
Dude, we gotta find you guys something to do with yourself. These guys,
quick. You know that old song by the Charlie Daniels Band?
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. How we went down to Georgia. He was looking for a bird to draft, and he was in a bind. He was waiting. All right, I'm going to bed.
We're gonna wrap you up with the cue to music. Hey guys, next time we're on the same bat time, same bat station. Make sure you guys reach out. You guys have anybody that you guys want to see us to try to interview? Maybe we'll get a guest on here maybe soon. Maybe we get Al come on. You know what I'm saying? Al can rock out with us one night, talk some sports. But man, I'm Drip.
I'm Chip.
Whatever, how we do this. And this has been the Sports Wheelhouse. Until next time.
Peace.